But yeah, guys, that's the votes for this week. So now we'll get into round 18, and of course, we'll get into the tips. So to start off round 18, we have the Thursday night game once again. It is the Swans versus the Bulldogs at the SCG. As a Swans fan, I am so nervous that we're going to get flogged here. I think the Bulldogs are going to bounce back after a pretty poor performance last week against Collingwood, especially the second half when they could have had a chance to beat them. I think they're going to bounce back. Bulldogs are pretty good at the SCG. They don't really have any problems there. So I think the Bulldogs will win against the Swans, and I think the Swans are going to struggle to stay out of the bottom four this year if they don't start piling some wins together, if I'm being honest. After that, we get to Friday night, Melbourne versus Brisbane at the MCG. And look, if this was at the Gabba, I'd be picking Brisbane. But at the MCG, you can't pick Brisbane. This is a Melbourne game through and through. I can't see Brisbane going up to Melbourne, especially the MCG, and winning. They have won one game in their past 13. And that was that... I guess it was in a final against Melbourne. I just don't see it happening. I can't do it. I'm sorry to Brisbane, but I think they're going to lose this one. But if Brisbane do win this game, they've sewn up a top 4 spot by 100%, and they've probably sewn up a top 3 spot at the very least. So Brisbane, I think, should on paper, I think they should win this game, but because this is at the MCG, I've got to go Melbourne. After that, we get to Saturday afternoon, Collingwood versus Fremantle at the MCG, and kind of like the Brisbane game, I can't see Fremantle winning at the MCG, especially against Collingwood. They're in such good form, the Pies, and Fremantle seem to have dropped back into their hole that they were in at the start of the season. Collingwood win this one, and I think pretty comfortably in the end. After that, we get to another Saturday afternoon game, Gold Coast versus St Kilda up at Heritage Bank Stadium. Very interesting game, this one. If this was in Melbourne, I'd be going St Kilda, but at the Gold Coast, it kind of gives a little bit of a 50-50 feel about it. The Gold Coast, three of the past 4 weeks, they've been well beaten, so they really have to stand up against the Saints. I don't know if they can do it. I think the Saints will see that they need to win this one, and I think the Saints will get home. It does say here, though, on the points bet, at the moment, money odds are with the Gold Coast, so that's quite interesting. I guess the loss of Max King as well is going to be pretty detrimental to the Saints. We'll see how that rolls out towards the teams picked as well. We'll see how St Kilda are going to structure up, but at this stage, I'm going to go the Saints. After that, we get the Saturday twilight game, Carlton versus Port Adelaide at Marvel. I just think Port Adelaide at the moment are in such good form. I don't think Carlton can stop them. Although, in saying that, Port Adelaide have struggled at times against the really big forwards, and Carlton do have 2 of them. So if Mackay and Curnow can get on top of the Port Adelaide defence, who have lost Trent McKenzie as well, so they will be a little bit shorter down there, I do give Carlton a little bit of a chance here. But Port Adelaide also have a very good record at Marvel, so I'm going to go Port Adelaide. I think they should win this one pretty well. After that, we get to Saturday night, Geelong versus Essendon, and this is a huge game. Down in GMHBA Stadium, Geelong are obviously the favourites, but Essendon just have been able to compete against so many of the top teams this year. We've obviously seen them beat Melbourne as well this year, who are up top. I'd give them a big chance, the Bombers, but because it's in Geelong, I just have to pick the Cats. You can't pick against the Cats when it's down there. Also, I think the Bombers... haven't played down there very often. I can't remember the last time they played down in Geelong, so it'll be very interesting to see. I'll probably be watching this game because it's a very good contest, and I think it's very interesting. But I think the Cats will win this one, and, a couple of goals, I would say. After that, we get to the Crows versus the Giants at Adelaide Oval. The Crows at Adelaide Oval are basically unbeatable this season. They won't win their games away from home, but they'll win them at home. Even though it is Lockie Whitfield's 200th for the GWS, and also they're in some really good form, I can't really see the Giants winning this one. I think their 4-run winning streak will stop here, and I think the Crows will win this. Then we get to Sunday Arvo, bottom, a couple of cellar dwellers up here. But anyway, North Melbourne versus Hawthorn at Marvel Stadium. North Melbourne, I don't think have improved much from last year, if I'm being honest. And I guess Alistair Clarkson hasn't been there a lot, so you can't really have too many... gripes with North, in my opinion, because they haven't had their coach to coach them for most of the year. But nonetheless, I think that they should be doing a little bit better than what they are. And I think Hawthorn have actually improved a lot more than people would have expected, including me. And I'm going to be picking Hawthorn in this one to bring, probably about 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5 goals, to be honest. And then finally, we get to the final game of the round. West Coast versus Richmond at Optus Stadium. Richmond have to get some percentage on this game. They've got a couple of easy games in the next few weeks for the Tigers. Their percentage isn't exactly that healthy. It's under 100, and there's a lot of teams that are above them that have plus 115. So the teams especially that have to get in front of are Geelong, the Crows, and the Western Bulldogs, all who have over percentage over 100. So right now, the Tigers need to win this one and win it well. I mean, I'm not going to tell. I mean, obviously, Richmond are going to win this game. I don't care if West Coast are at home. This is going to be a bloodbath, I think. I think Richmond will get that percentage boost that they need, and they'll win this one pretty comfortably.